Walk into almost any Fortune 500 company right now, and you will not find the flashy AI products being marketed on billboards. Instead, you'll find a quiet, unglamorous category of software operating behind the scenes. Sophisticated enterprises do not chase consumer hype cycles. They evaluate technology based on a rigorous, simple metric: how effectively it reduces operational friction and cuts costs at scale. The specific tool category they prioritized over almost everything else is enterprise-grade AI knowledge management and internal search systems. Any business can replicate this architectural approach to data organization, as the underlying technology is available to individual users and small teams. Paying attention to what large, sophisticated organizations quietly deploy to solve their most expensive problems provides a highly accurate signal of true technological value, long before consumer markets catch on. This diagram illustrates the core problem: information entropy. As an organization grows, it experiences a natural decay where knowledge scatters as volume increases. Over time, policy documents, project histories, and client communications inevitably fragment. The data gets buried across dozens of incompatible systems, isolated folders, and disconnected platforms. Industry research consistently identifies this fragmentation as one of the largest hidden productivity drains in business. Companies lose the equivalent of significant employee time every single week just searching for information that technically already exists somewhere in the building. This friction scales aggressively. The larger and more information-dense a company becomes, the more expensive it is for employees to locate the exact file, policy, or project detail they need to do their jobs. The enterprise AI solution addresses this directly by creating a unified knowledge graph. AI tools specifically built for this connect to the company's internal data, turning those scattered sources into a single, naturally queryable system. Fortune 500 companies prioritize this architecture because the financial drain of information retrieval scales in direct proportion to the size and density of the organization. To see exactly how valuable this is, we have to look at how large organizations deploy this queryable system in their daily operations. Traditionally, an employee looking for an answer needs to know exactly which department, which database, or which person holds that specific piece of information. This chart shows how natural language AI bypasses that friction entirely. An employee asks a question naturally, and the central AI node simultaneously extracts and synthesizes data points from across multiple disconnected internal systems to deliver a single, coherent answer. This also attacks the departmental silo problem. In large corporations, valuable prior work often exists in one department, like research and development, but remains completely invisible to another group, like marketing, causing expensive duplicated effort. The AI knowledge layer dissolves these silos. By making previously isolated departmental knowledge accessible and queryable organization-wide, it ensures no one is doing the same work twice. Breaking down these structural walls allows previously isolated work to function as a searchable, organization-wide resource. Beyond organizing files, this architecture directly reduces the friction of human operations. Consider onboarding. New hires traditionally require significant time simply learning where information lives and how internal processes work. This requires extensive shadowing and repeatedly interrupting veteran employees for basic procedural guidance. A connected knowledge system compresses this learning curve. New employees can query the company's accumulated knowledge naturally, getting immediate answers about internal processes without draining the time of senior staff. Then there is compliance. In regulated industries, thousands of individuals need to consistently follow complex, frequently updated policies. Operating on outdated or misremembered policy information carries genuine financial and legal risk. AI knowledge tools provide instant, accurate policy querying. They ensure everyone operates from a single, current source of truth, mitigating regulatory risk at scale. The system effectively acts as a constantly available mentor and compliance officer, drastically reducing human error and the heavy financial overhead of training. The final enterprise pillar addresses institutional brain drain. When experienced employees leave an organization, they take massive amounts of undocumented operational knowledge with them. Traditionally, this unwritten expertise, the context of why decisions were made, the nuances of client relationships, the unwritten shortcuts, simply vanishes during employee turnover. When an AI knowledge system is properly integrated into daily workflows, it captures and indexes this undocumented knowledge in a queryable format over time. By continuously logging this information, the company builds a permanent, compounding institutional memory that hedges against turnover and outlasts any single individual. This underlying principle extends well beyond the Fortune 500. The exact same architecture can be applied by individuals, freelancers, and small business owners. This diagram illustrates how the logic scales down. Unifying a fragmented database is highly effective for a corporation, but it functions using the exact same structural connections on a single laptop for a solopreneur. The first step is identifying your scattered information. For individuals, this is usually personal client notes, project documentation, and email threads spread across multiple apps and local folders. It is the exact same fragmentation problem, just at a smaller volume. The second step is connecting these sources into an AI knowledge tool designed for individual use. Instead of manually searching through scattered folders, trying to remember where a specific file was saved, you ingest this data to enable natural, system-wide querying. The friction of information retrieval is a universal bottleneck. Individuals suffer from the exact same structural inefficiency as enterprises, and they can solve it using the exact same approach. If you run a service-based business, you apply this specifically to your client history. Instead of manually scrolling through years of email threads to remember specific client preferences or prior agreements, a connected knowledge system instantly retrieves this context. If you create content or write documentation, you connect your own accumulated research into the system. This allows you to leverage your prior work exponentially faster than trying to manually locate everything you've previously researched. The critical final step is treating this as an ongoing system. Treating this as a one-time setup task is a mistake. It must become a continuous operational habit. This visualization shows the node as it absorbs new data points. The system becomes increasingly intelligent and valuable the longer you consistently maintain and feed it. This continuous accumulation turns scattered personal notes from a storage burden into a highly leveraged, centralized asset. This shift in focus reveals a more reliable framework for evaluating the long-term utility of new technology. To find genuinely high-value applications, watch what sophisticated enterprises quietly prioritize. They have the resources to measure what actually solves expensive inefficiencies at scale, long before those capabilities become obvious to individual consumers. The companies that scale successfully are often those that ignore the noise of marketing campaigns to focus on unglamorous structural efficiencies. Structural problem solving is what separates high-value technological adoption from temporary trends.